name is Ollie Clayton. I'd like to talk to you about where I live. I'm a very lucky person. I live right beside Lake Taupo. From my house, I can also see the Tongariro River as it empties into the lake. This lake and river are fantastic places to play. I have so many choices. I can go kayaking and rafting. White water on the river makes it really exciting. My dad has a boat so we can go water skiing. I like it early in the morning when the lake's flat. I can swim any time and I can fish. One day, my dad said to me and my brothers, let's get up early tomorrow and see if we can water ski, raft, kayak, swim and fish all on the same day. And you know, we did. Although Dad wasn't too happy when I woke him up at 5 o'clock in the morning. He did say early. Another cool thing we can do is visit the Tongariro National Trout Centre. The centre is right by the river and only a short distance from Turangi. I visited the Trout Centre last weekend. It really is an interesting place. Mike Nicholson from the Department of Conservation showed me around.
The Taupo fishery is famous worldwide, and I guess you could say it's got a couple of really amazing star players as well. Our rainbow trout and our big, beautiful brown trout. So shall we go inside and see what we can find out about them? Ollie, this building's called the Riverwalk Building, and it's part of the National Trout Centre. And the National Trout Centre has three main groups. That's the National Trout Centre Society, the Department of Conservation, and also Genesis Energy. And they have a partnership down here to teach people about trout and about the fishery, lots of things about the fishery, but also to teach people about clean water. And at the end of the day, if we don't have clean, clear, cool water, then there just won't be fish to catch in the future.
How about trout down here? It's a really world famous place.
Mike is sort of a teacher for the Department of Conservation. He talks to lots of school kids like me about conservation.
You guys are the best guys in the world for sending out some of the key conservation messages that we're talking about.
I learned so much from Mike. He said, if we really love the trout, then we must learn and understand about water.
Here's the first big idea for you today. We love our trout, we love the water even more, because if you see a nice big fat silver trout swimming around in your lake or in your stream, you can be pretty sure that the water or the environment that it's living in is healthy.
Then he said something really interesting.
Well, fresh water is the essence of life, Ollie. We drink in it, we play in it, we admire its beauty, we use it for everything from generating electricity, to cleaning the car. Did you know that even our bodies are made up of 66% water?
That was confusing because my dad once told me I was full of hot air.
Did you know, Ollie, that we're pretty fortunate in New Zealand to have the freshwater resources that we do have? 1 billion people on the planet don't have.
I had a feeling he was going to tell me more, but first we went fishing. That was fun.
People come here from all over the world to catch trout, not just from parts of New Zealand, but also from overseas. And they're a really important resource. And we need to make sure that they're looked after. So, like the All Blacks, we really, really love our trout, and we're proud of their reputation being cultural here. And the only reason that they're here really is because of these streams and rivers and our beautiful Lake Taupo. And they love it. That's where they love to be. Ollie, this is the Wai Water stream. Why don't you throw a bit of food in and see what happens? Yeah, he's hungry. You know, one of the reasons that trout have done so well in the Taupo region, and that so many people still come to catch them here, is because of rivers like this, which are clean, cold and clear. We'd really like New Zealanders to expect our rivers and streams to be nice and clean, clear and cold as well. To be uncompromising about that. You know, it's something that we all should care about. I think the All Blacks are a world famous successful rugby team. Why do you think that? Yeah, they do have some amazing star players, but I guess to be a successful team, you need quite a few other things as well, don't you? Even the little animals that live in there are really important. Here's an example of some animals that are important in the stream. These are called little invertebrates, things like stoneflies and mayflies and trout. Like the whitebait footer? Well, in your whitebait footer, what you're actually eating are the little babies, or the juveniles. Here are very, very important, Ollie. And they're called smelt. And they live in Lake Taupo. Well, what a fantastic job I've got here, Ollie. I get to work with young people from all over New Zealand talking about the things that we've talked about today. And you know what? I believe that young people are really the best people to spread that freshwater message looking after our rivers and streams and lakes. So who do you think the most important people are that are going to be spreading the freshwater message in the future?
You.
No, not me, Ollie. Try again.
Us.
You, exactly. It's the young people. You're going to be the most important people to make sure that we look after our freshwater resources, and hopefully what we're doing today can help with that. One of the things that the Department of Conservation does is they have a team of people that work a lot with the trout. I'm going to send you off to see Dave Lumley. He's the area manager for the Taupo fishery, and he's going to tell you a bit more about how they manage the fishery.
So Ollie, you spent a few hours at the site today. What birds have you seen?
I've seen some toys and some wood pigeons.
Oh, okay, you saw some wood pigeons. Oh, cool. There's quite a few tuis here at the moment, eh? It's because they're coming in on those kowhai trees. And have you seen the trout in the stream here?
Yeah. Some pretty big ones.
There's
down here.
some good ones down here.
What are the trout doing in there?
So these trout, some of these trout are spawning. They're in here spawning, Ollie. So they're providing trout for future generations. I'm what they call an area manager, and my role is the management of the Taupo trout fishery. That means I'm lucky enough to be in charge of this site as one of my responsibilities, and it's such a neat place to be on a day like this. So Ollie, do you know the difference between jacks and hens, or males and females?
Jack has a funny hook in its jaw.
That's right, yeah, some of them are a bit ugly, aren't they? And what about the hens, what do they have?
They've never got one.
More streamlined, aren't they? So these fish are in here and they're spawning, and you can see that most of the trout are in really good condition. There's some quite big fish here, in 4 and 5 pound. The last couple of years have been quite tough in terms of the fishery, but yeah, I'm quite optimistic that there certainly is an improvement in the fish that we're seeing in the streams this year. So Ollie, one of the responsibilities of the Department of Conservation in this area is management of the Taupo sports fishery, and this is one of the things that we do. in terms of monitoring numbers of what we call juveniles in the rivers. So these staff here are using an electric fishing machine and going along the bed of the river and capturing juvenile trout. So we get an idea of not only the abundance but the quality of the little trout that are hiding in the rivers. So Ollie, that guy up there, he's doing what we call drift diving, and he's counting the number of adult spawning trout in the rivers. And so spawning happens from during the winter and through until the spring, and we get an idea of the total number of adult trout in particularly the Tongariro River just out here, and the Lake Taupo and other smaller rivers that flow into the lake.
So I caught a nice trout today, and I was just wondering, what do they eat?
Trout eat a variety of things, Ollie, and particularly in Lake Taupo, over 90% of their diet is made up of smelt. A trout fishery like this, of course, is dependent on food, and one of the problems in the past has been the boom and bust problem with sometimes there are too many trout for the food that are available, and sometimes you have great seasons and trout are in really good condition. So it's always a bit of a balancing act, and it's a difficult balance because nature is in charge, really. Ollie, so this is the hatchery. We used to use it in earlier times as a hatchery for the lake, but we don't need to now because there's plenty of wild spawning for lake trout. So we grow little fish into bigger fish that we put in the kids' fish out pond where you caught a fish today. One of the really clear messages that we need to get across at this site is the importance, for New Zealand really, of clean, clear water. And we can do that really well here about demonstrating the importance of clean water for the fishery.
Look over there, Ollie, we're pretty lucky. There's a couple of fuel or blue duck over there. And blue duck are a native New Zealand species, and there's only about 3,000 of them left in New Zealand, and they live on our clean, clear, cold, beautiful rivers and streams. But you know what? The fuel are a bit like a referee in a rugby match. What does the referee do?
Blows the whistle.
Yeah, well I guess fuel can blow the whistle as well, because if something's wrong with the waterway, if there's any pollution and things like that, the fuel won't be there because they can only live on the streams and rivers. It's how you and I and everybody who uses water plays the game. It's really important. You wouldn't want to swim in dirty water, would you?
No way.
No, I guarantee you that the trout won't either. Ollie, do you use electricity at home?
You bet. I play computer games and watch TV, but sometimes my mum turns it off and sends us outside.
Well, I'm going to send you off to someone called Ellie Watson from Genesis Energy. And Genesis Energy generate electricity from this river and some of the other ones around our place as well. And they also sponsor the National Trout Centre, the Taupo for Tomorrow education program, and they also put a lot of energy into helping the blue duck recovery efforts on our rivers around our area.
Water is very important to Genesis in this area in particular because it holds a huge source of energy which we use to generate electricity. We actually generate enough electricity to power a city roughly the size of Hamilton.
So that's cool.
So that kayaking was pretty neat today, eh, Ollie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really important that other people who value the river get to use it as well. So some weekends we actually release more water, and this is called a recreational release, and that's so kayakers and rafters can take advantage of the extra flows.
How do you do that?
Well, you know how you turn your tap on and off at home?
Yeah.
Well, it's a similar concept to that, except the structures are much, much bigger here. So there's a lot of different uses for the water in this area. Genesis Energy wants to generate electricity, you want to take your kayaks down the rivers, the Fio want a nice place to live with fast, clean, fresh flowing water. The fishermen want to fish on the river. So taking into account all of the different values that people have for this water, it's important that we share it and that we maintain this important resource for the future.
You know, Ollie, knowing where we've been and knowing where we're going, which is called history, is a very, very important part on how we live. And this is why this facility that you're in now is so important, not only to all of us volunteers who are here to make sure it functions, but also to so many people who come here every day, because we open every day of the year with the exception of 2 days, that people can see and know a little bit about what has been done before, but even more important, what we can do in the future. Over the past year, over 3,000 young people, like yourself, have come and had the opportunity to go through our whakapumatanga learning centre, which recognises the part that the Downs hapu have played in the development of this area, because they were original landowners here. Now the Learning Centre also, I have to say, would not be here if it hadn't had the very generous support of Genesis Energy. We have to say this because it is people like Genesis Energy make it possible for people like us to deliver to you some of the advantages of this beautiful place. So Ollie, what we have now is the culmination of many, many years of effort by people whose only reward is the fact that they have been involved in something that is useful, something that allows New Zealanders and overseas people who come in large numbers the benefit of looking at our conservation area in its very best way of presentation. We have a museum, we have an aquarium, we show them all of the various things that can happen and do happen within our environment, but also we give them an opportunity to look about and see a unspoiled piece of New Zealand, which really is an icon for our country.
Ollie, the Department of Conservation wants New Zealand to be the greatest living space on Earth. And our streams and rivers and lakes are going to be a really important part of that. We have a really awesome rugby team, don't we?
Yes.
Well, just like the All Blacks, let's make looking after our fresh water an uncompromising part of who we are as well, eh?
You know, I kind of like living in this amazing place, and something else. Not only am I proud of the All Blacks, I'm just as proud of our water. Let's all be good players. Let's keep Lake Taupo and the Tongariro River fast and clean. So in 100 years, when I'm as old as my dad, I can say to my children, let's see if we can water ski, raft, kite, swim and fish all on the same day.